Maid gives birth in the rain and is driven out of the mansion by the billionaire. 10 years later, a pair of twins are at the estate's gate. What happens next shocks everyone, like the gods were furious, squeezing every last drop from the clouds over Mount Engen and hurling it onto the tin roof of the Golden Oak estate. Thunder rolled, rattling the windows so hard it felt like the whole mansion was shaking. Ka Rushiwanga, the owner, stood on the second-floor balcony, swirling his champagne glass with a smirk. Tonight was his 50th birthday, and the party inside was in full swing. African drums mixed with electronic beats, laughter and clinking glasses under the glow of chandeliers. "Damn rain, bad timing," he muttered, but he wasn't really upset. If anything, it felt like the sky itself was celebrating him. But in the narrow hallway between the laundry room and the kitchen, hidden behind the main house, another life was fighting. To exist. Aya, a 19-year-old maid hired 3 months ago from a village near Lake Victoria, was curled up in the corner, her back pressed against the cold concrete wall. Sweat beaded on her forehead as pain racked her small frame. Her fingers dug into the floor, knuckles white. Her stomach cramped violently, her water had broken, warm fluid mixing with the rainwater pooling beneath her. "Mwangi, Uncle Mwangi," she whimpered, her voice lost in the storm. No one heard her. The party was too loud. No one would notice a maid in labor in the back corridors. Aya bit her lip, refusing to scream. She knew the rules: servants don't disturb the master's guests. So she suffered alone, like an animal left out in the rain. The laundry room was piled high with dirty tablecloths and wineglasses from the party, the air thick with the smell of spilled wine, spices, and damp cement. Aya's name tag still hung from her uniform. Temp maid, Aya, the letters faded. She remembered her first day, when the butler, Kimonyo, had looked her up and down and snapped, "Kitchen is your place. Main house is the master's. Don't mix them up." She had just nodded. She'd walked 3 days from her lakeside village to Nairobi, her feet bleeding in her cheap shoes. She needed this job, for her sick mother, for her little brother's school fees. But now, her mother was gone. Her brother had been taken by distant relatives. And here she was, alone under a stranger's roof, bringing a nameless, unwanted child into the world. Then, a sound cut through the rain. A baby's cry. Weak, but unmistakable. Aya trembled as she cradled the newborn. A girl, tiny and shivering, her skin tinged blue. She tore a strip from her old dress, wrapping the baby clumsily, but the infant kept crying, frail as a flickering candle. Just then, old Mwangi rushed in, an oil lamp in hand. He'd heard faint moans and followed them. "Aya! My child," he gasped, kneeling beside her. "Uncle, save her," Aya whispered, fading fast. Without a word, Mwangi wrapped them both in his coat and scp'd them up, heading for the estate's clinic. But at the back door, the butler, Kimonyo, blocked their way, 2 guards flanking him. "Stop! Where do you think you're going?" Kimonyo ba ked. "The baby, she needs a doctor." Mwangi pleaded. "The master's orders, 6 servants or one's giving birth stay out of the main house," Kimonyo sneered. "Laundry room's your place. But she'll die. Then let her die outside." The rain poured harder. Mwangi stood there, clutching the baby, fury burning in his chest, but helpless. He was just an old gardener, his wages rely enough for his grandson's school fees. His own son had died in a mining accident years ago, his daughter-in-law remarried. If he lost this job, his grandson would starve. Then Ka Rushiwanga himself stormed in, silk robe. Flapping, nose wrinkled like he'd smelled something foul. What's going on? He snapped. Sir, she had a baby, Mwangi whispered, voice shaking. What? Wanga's face direcened. Who told her to squat out a brat in my state? African women always popping out babies like rabbits. Please save the child. Aya crawled four-way TRS mixing with rain. Wanga didn't even glance at her. He turned to the Gua RDS. Throw her and that Basta RD out. Now. I won't have filth on my property. Sir, she just gave birth, she can't. Mwangi tried. Shut your mouth, old fool. Wanga ROA read. One more word, and you're fired. The Gua RDS yanked the baby from Mwangi's ARMS, shoved her into Aya's weak grip, and dragged them both to a rusted pickup truck. The bed had no cover, mother and child huddled in the corner as the storm lashed at them. The engine growled, tires spinning in mud. Aya clutched her baby, teeth chattering, consciousness slipping. The last thing she saw was the estate's iron gate, closing behind them like the jaws of a beast. The truck lurched for NEARLY an hour before the driver, a lowly worker who pitied them but couldn't disobey, stopped. NEAR the lake. Live, girl, he muttered before driving off. Aya crawled 2 miles through the storm, finally collapsing in an abandoned fishing hut. She lit dry grass for RMTH, laid the baby beside her, and curled up, her body growing colder by the minute. At dawn, an old woman, Nana Mina, the village healer and midwife, found them. She took one look at the fading infant and acted fast. RM water, herbs, goat's milk. She'll live. But you must fight, she told Aya, unconscious but clinging to life. For 3 days, Aya hovered between worlds. Nana never left her side, using every remedy and prayer she knew. When Aya finally woke, seeing her daughter healthy, sleeping peacefully, she wept. She named her Mira. Miracle. Back at the Golden Oak Estate, the Pa Rudy was long over. The guests had left, the glasses washed, the stains scrubbed away. No one spoke of the maid, the storm, or the baby's cry swallowed by the wind. Only Mwangi, trimming roses at dawn, planted a single white flower in a hidden corner. The villagers called it Mother's TRS. It only bloomed after rain. 10 years later, when twin girls stood at the estate's iron gates, no one knew the child left in the storm had become an STAR, shining bright enough to light up the DRK. At 5 in the morning, Lake Victoria was still wrapped in mist. The water stretched like a vast blue silk sheet, gently rippling. In the distance, dugout canoes drifted like shadows, and the low, haunting songs of fishermen ride on the wind. Aya was already awake. She moved reefily, not wanting to disturb Mira, still asleep. She pulled on her faded blue dress, grabbed her woven basket, and walked to the shore. The water was CL. She cast her fishing net with practiced hands, then waited. This was her first task every day, catch fish. Some she dried, some she sold at the market 10 kilometers away. Every shilling mattered. 10 years ago, after that stormy night, it was Nana Mina who had saved them. The old woman, NEARLY 70, had once been the village's only midwife, delivering hundreds of babies. Her husband was long gone, her son lost in the war. Now she lived alone in this small mud hut by the lake. A child is a gift, not a sin, Nana had said, cradling Mira. If she lives, it's destiny. Aya had lain in that fishing hut for 3 days, burning with fever. Nana used herbs to break it, wiped her down with RM water, and brewed a bitter root tea called mutumba for blood and strength. Mira, wrapped in an old blanket, stayed by the fire, watched over in shifts. You Havito live, Nana told her. For her. Aya lived. But she couldn't go home. An unwed mother was a shame-bringer in Luo tradition. The elders had sent word, if you return, don't set foot in the village. With nowhere else to go, she stayed by the lake, sheltered by Nana. At first, the villagers avoided her. Some whispered, who knows whose child that is, maybe the estate owner tossed her out when he got bored. Others said, giving birth in secret, no doctor, must be something dirty. Aya he rd at all. She never argued. She just woke early, fished, dried her catch, mended clothes, proving she wasn't lazy, wasn't wicked. Slowly, people accepted her. Amina, the fishmonger, was first to buy her dried fish. Yours are re-clean. No sand. The village teacher noticed Mira too. The girl always sat by the water, flipping through a tattered English textbook Aya had salvaged from the estate's trash. She wants to learn, Aya wants to read to say. Fees re 800 shillings a year, the teacher replied. Aya clenched her jaw. I'll save. From then on, she worked harder. Beyond fishing, she learned to weave baskets from reeds. Nana taught her, this pattern from my grandmother's hands. Strong enough for fish, fine enough for a dowry. Aya's baskets, intricate and sturdy, gained fame at the market. Buyers came from town, calling her the lake's clever hands. She saved every coin. By Myra's 6th year, she had the fees. On the first day of school, Mira wore a uniform Aya had stitched by lamplight, her old backpack bouncing as she skipped to the village schoolhouse. Aya stood at the door, watching her go, TRS silent on her cheeks. She'll go further than I ever could, she told herself. And Mira did. She topped her class, even tutored others. The teacher praised her, this one light in her eyes. But life stayed hard. When rains flooded the lake, fish grew scarce. Baskets didn't sell. One drought year, fish prices crashed. Aya sold her only silver earrings. Just to buy Myra's notebooks. At her lowest, she almost gave Mira away. A Nairobi merchant, passing through, offered to take the bright-eyed girl, educate her, train her as a maid. No. Mira clung to her. I stay with you. Aya wept. She stroked her daughter's hair, no matter how hard, I'll never leave you. She found new ways. By the shore grew purple herbs, chitu, Nana called them, good for keeping mosquitoes away. Aya dried them, tied them into sachets, hung them on her baskets. They sold fast. Soon, she had a market stall, fish, baskets, herbs. Steady enough to buy a second-hand bicycle, cutting her trips to town in half. Mira grew bolder. She kept the accounts, greeted customers. She even made a sign in English, lake fresh, fish, baskets and herbs. People smiled, this girl. Boss one day. Their lives spread out rd, like ripples on the lake, circles of hope. But fate loves to stir calm waters. When Mira turned 10, a photographer came to document the lake's ecology. By chance, he captured her reading by the shore, sunlight in her dark hair, pages turning, blue water and white egrets behind her. The photo made a Nairobi magazine's cover, daughter of the lake, light of the future. Copies reached the city. Someone recognized the girl, looks just like that maid thrown out of Golden Oak Estate years ago. Word reached the lake as Aya was hanging fish to dry. She froze. Her bamboo pole slipped into the mud. She didn't deny it. Just tucked the magazine into Myra's schoolbooks. That night, Myra asked, "Mama, why do people say I'm the estate's child?" Aya was silent a long time. Then, softly, 10 years ago, on a stormy night, you were born. We were at a big estate, far away. Then. We had to leave. Why? Because they didn't want us. Myra blinked. But we have our home now. The lake. Nana. You. We didn't get thrown out, we walked out, right? Ista read. In. Her daughters clear our eyes, the shame of that night felt lighter. Yes, she hugged her. We walked out. But she didn't know that photo had already been sent to Golden Oak Estate. She didn't know a seed of fate had sprouted miles away. Months later, Aya fell ill. Fever, coughing. Nana called it lake wind in the lungs, needed medicine too costly to afford. I'll wait till Myra's school break, Aya insisted. But she worsened. One dawn, she coughed blood. Nana wept, "You must go." For Myra. Finally, Aya agreed. She wrote a letter, pressed it into Nana's hands. "If I don't return, tell Myra she's no Basta Road. Her father is far away. Tell her to find him." She named no one. Just one place, Golden Oak Estate. 3 days later, with Myra's cries in her ears, Aya closed her eyes. Her last gesture, a finger pointing across the water, Tawa Rd the horizon. Myra sat by the lake all day, clutching her mother's things, the worn textbook, a faded. Photo, that letter. At sunset, she told Nana, "I'm going to Golden Oak Estate." Nana stroked her hair. "The road is long, child. But Mama said the light comes from there." 10 years later, when Myra and her brother Tala stood before the estate's iron gates, no one knew the baby left in the storm had grown into a warrior, shaped by lake winds and sunlight, ready to uncover the truth. The boisterous 50th birthday party was long gone, replaced by years of heavy silence in the estate. His wife had passed early, his only daughter Leah studied in England or rely coming home. Wanga spent his days buried in ledgers and mining reports, as if money and land were his only family. But today, the estate was alive again. A decade after that birthday, Golden Oak mining was going public in London. Politicians, businessmen, the elite all gathered on the manicured lawns, champagne flowing, laughter echoing through the halls. "Father, you should smile more," Leah said, Shah RP in her tailored suit, eyes bright. "This is a celebration." Wanga forced a grimace. "Money's coming in, but I'm just getting old." Then a soft knock at the iron gates. Gua Road Abi peered through the bars. 2 children stood outside. Around 10 years old, wearing faded blue school uniforms, scuffed canvas shoes. The boy carried a worn cloth bag. The girl clutched a neatly folded paper. "What do you want, Abdi Ba Ked?" The boy looked up, eyes clear and steady. "We're here to see our father." Abdi blinked. "Father? Whose father?" Ka Rushi Wanga, the girl said softly. Her voice was quiet, but it hit like a stone dropped in still water. Abdi Nearly laughed. "You're joking. Get lost." "We're not joking." The boy pulled a letter from his bag. "From Nana Mina. And the village chief's seal. We came from Lake Victoria." Abi skimmed the Swahili letter, frown deepening. It named the children's mother Aya. Said she died 6 months prior, told them to find their father before she passed. Abi's stomach dropped. He'd been here 10 years ago. He remembered that rainy night. He rushed to the butler, Kimonyo. Kimonyo paled at the name. At the gate, he studied the children, especially the girl. Her eyes were RK, Shah RP at the corners. Just like the baby thrown into that truck. Sir, Kimonyo whispered to Wanga, there are children claiming to be Aya's. Wanga froze mid-conversation with a minister. What at the gate? He GLA read through the BARS. The girl Mira held up a faded photo, the daughter of the Lake magazine shot. Wanga's breath caught. Those eyes. That face. A perfect match to the infant he'd cast out. And me, the boy, Taeru said. I'm Myra's brother. Brother, Wanga scoffed. Aya only had a daughter. You're lying. Taeru's adopted, Mira said calmly. Awa are orphan. Mama took him in. She said family isn't just blood. Wanga stiffened. This girl spoke with unsettling poise. Prove I'm your father, he challenged. Mira pulled a DNA report from her envelope, a match to a distant Wanga relative. Then, softly, Mama said you have a mining SCA or a left shoulder. Wanga's hand flew to the old wound. No one knew about that. A crowd gathered. Guests murmured. Cameras hovered. Mama never hated you, Mira said, voice clear. She just wanted us to know where we came from. Wanga's chest tightened. That stormy night played in his head, Aya crawling in mud, his own cruel words. Get out, he ROA read, voice cracking. I don't know you. Gua RDS. Leah suddenly pushed four-way road stop. She knelt before the children. You came from the lake. Mira nodded. Leah studied her face and froze. Those eyes, like the mother she remembered. Let them in, Leah ordered. Have you lost your mind? Wanga snapped. 10 years ago, Leah said coldly, you turned away a woman and her child. Now they're back. Will you make them stand in the rain again? Wanga fell silent. The gates creaked open. Mira and Taeru stepped through. Small steps, but they shook the ground beneath everyone's feet. The guests watched, hushed. Only the wind spoke. Wanga turned away, shoulders stiff. He knew this storm was just beginning. And the children didn't realize they hadn't just brought their past to light. They'd uncovered a secret buried for 10 years. Mira and Tala were given a guest room in the estate's west wing. Plush sea pets, brand new lamps, shelves of untouched books. Kampa read to their leaky mud hut by the lake. This felt like another universe. Are we really staying here? Tala whispered, running his fingers over the crisp bedsheets. For now, Mira said by the window, watching the trimmed rose gardens outside. Mama said the truth never hides for long. But the estate's mood had already shifted. Servants. Whispered in corners, that girl's eyes, just like the baby from 10 years ago. Others muttered, but the boy where'd he come from? Probably after money. The butler, Kimonyo, was coldest. He delivered 2 sets of clothes like they were handouts, from the master. Return them when done. Mira thanked him politely. He left like the air was poisoned. At dinner, Wanga didn't show. Only Leah sat at the long table, serving them extra portions. Eat. You've traveled far. Thank you, sister, Mira said softly. Leah smiled. Not sister. Cousin. If you really are fathers. Talo stayed quiet. The lake had taught him wind, water, bird calls, not this suffocating silence. The estate felt like a gilded cage. After dinner, Leah gave them a tour. Library, music room, gym, but Talu's eyes locked onto the old backup generator in the corner, its wiring frayed, humming weakly. Can I look, he asked. Leah blinked. You fix things Mama taught me. Talu said. Our generator at the lake always broke. I helped Nana repair it. He crouched, popped the panel open, tweaked loose wires. 10 minutes later, the machine purred smoothly. Leah sta read. You're good. Just practice, Talu said. Shy. Wanga watched from the upstairs window. A strange pang hit him. He'd sta root his fortune fixing machines too. This boy has the touch. Meanwhile, Mira scoured the library. She loved medicine, geography, but today, she hunted for traces of her mother. In an old photo album, she found Wanga's younger self in the mines. Leah walked in. Looking for something. Mama worked here, Mira said. In the laundry. I want to know how she lived. Leah hesitated, then pulled out a document. Father agreed. The Child Welfare Office requires DNA tests to confirm you're his. Myra's pulse spiked. The truth was this close. How long a week? You can stay till then. News spread fast. Reporters SWA or Med. The Gates. TYCN denies fatherhood. Storm baby returns. Trends exploded online, some calling Mira Lake's daughter, others calling her a scammer. Wanga cracked under pressure. He called a family meeting, lawyers and all. We settle this now, he ROA read. That girl might be mine, but the boy Talu isn't. Aya only had one child. The lawyer nodded. If the girl matches, she inherits. The boy gets nothing. Then we keep her. Wanga snapped. Send the boy back. Leah cut in. Father, they grew up together. Splitting them would repeat what happened 10 years ago. This is my house. Wanga bellowed. I won't let some stray NEA my fortune. The meeting ended in shouts. While waiting for results, Talu explored. Behind the estate, he found stone steps buried in weeds, leading underground. An abandoned mine shaft. Dusty tools, scattered files. He picked up a yellowed page. Golden Oak Mine, Sector A, closed 1998. The same mine Mama's father had worked. Then he spotted a logbook. Listed names. One jumped out, Joseph A. Rue, Aya's father. A note beside it, fired for whistleblowing illegal drilling. Later deceased. Talu's breath caught. Mama didn't just come here to work. She came for justice. Footsteps. He had fast. Wanga's brother, Orso, the estate manager, crept in, dug up a metal box from the wall, grabbed papers, and left. Talu marked the spot. Mira needs to see this. A week later, the DNA results arrived. Silence filled the meeting room as the lawyer read, Mira Aya 99.98% paternal match to Ka Rushi Wanga. Then, Talu Wami, no relation. Wanga exhaled, relieved, yet uneasy. That girl, really is mine. From today, he read, Mira is a daughter of this house. Talu, get school fees. No inheritance. Mira stood outside, hearing every word. Her fists clenched. That night, she and Talu sat on the balcony. They'll only take me, Mira said. Knew that, Talu said. Calmly. Not your blood brother, but Mama raised me as her son. I'll always be your brother. Blood doesn't matter. But they'll split us. Talu looked at the stars, remember the kites by the lake? You said twin stars shine brightest together. Mira nodded. Then we stay twin stars, Talu said. No one splits us. Next morning, Mirama urged into Wanga's study alone. Father, she said, spine straight. I accept the DNA. I'm your daughter. Wanga nodded, surprised. But, her voice rose, if Talu isn't your son, if he isn't family, then, she took a deep breath. I'm not your daughter either. We're twin stars, together or not at all. She turned and left. Wanga sat frozen. Outside, rain began to fall, but this time, no one would be thrown out. The estate felt like soaked paper, heavy, suffocating. Myra's words, if Talu isn't family, then neither am I, stuck in Ka Rushi Wanga's chest like a thorn. He sat in his study, sta ring at the gray sky outside, the DNA report crumpled in his hand. He had thought about accepting Mira. She was his blood, her eyes so much like Aya's. But Talu, that quiet boy, no relation, unknown origins. Letting him into the family was like planting a bomb in his own house. Father, you have to face the past, Leah said, stepping in again. Turning Aya away 10 years ago was wrong. Now her children are back. Will you hurt them again? I'm not rejecting Mira. Wanga snapped, standing. But that boy, who is he? Someone could be using them to get to our money. He fixed the generator, Leah said softly. He found the old mine shaft. He's not ordinary. Wanga paused. He remembered Talu's hands, quick, precise, just like his own when he was young. Then the butler rushed in, Sir, the police are here. They want to inspect the old mines. What Wanga's face drained. Turns out, Talu had secretly given Leah the miner's log and files. Shocked by Aya's father's fate and knowing Golden Oak mining was built on illegal drilling, Leah had anonymously sent everything to the National Mining Bureau. Now, police demanded to check the abandoned shaft for violations. Wanga had no choice. He led them underground, Talu following as the discoverer. The mine was damp, RK flashlights revealed names scratched into the walls by miners long gone. Then, in a hidden corner, the metal box Oriso had stashed. Inside of bribery records, Wanga paying off officials to hide illegal mining. A medical report, Aya's father, Joseph, denied compensation for fatal lung disease from mine dust. A photo of young Aya outside the mines, eyes fierce, back labeled, I'll get justice for my father. This can't be, Wanga whispered, hands shaking. Father, Talu spoke up, Aya didn't come to your estate to be a maid. She came for the truth. Her father was wronged. She just wanted you to make it right. Wanga. Remembered that rainy night. Aya's last look at him. Not anger. Disappointment. But she was pregnant, Wanga muttered. I thought she seduced Oriso. No, Talo cut in. Oriso drugged her. That night, he kept her late in the laundry, assaulted her. She was afraid to speak, needed the job, knew no one would believe her. When the baby came, you threw her out. Wanga staggered. He whirled on Oriso, now pale, stammering denials as police held him. Proof. An officer asked. Talo pulled a USB drive from his pocket, mine surveillance backups. The footage is grainy, but you'll see. He'd restored the old mine security system, recovered the critical night. There it was, Oriso dragging a dazed Aya into the laundry. Timestamp, MARCH 17, 2015. 11:47 p.m. You monster. Wanga ROA read, lunging at Oriso. I trusted you. Oriso collapsed, begging, brother, I panicked, I made her take the blame. Police hauled him away on charges of rape, fraud, unlawful. Confinement. The estate fell silent. Wanga sat alone in the laundry room, running his hands over the cold floor where Aya had suffered. He finally understood that night, he hadn't just expelled a maid. He'd cast out a victim, a daughter seeking justice, an innocent mother. And he'd covered it all up for the family. Named I was wrong, he whispered, TRS falling. Mira and Tala stood outside, watching. They'd gotten the truth. But victory wasn't revenge, it was justice. Days later, Wanga faced the press. He bowed deeply. 10 years ago, I made an unforgivable mistake. I drove out an innocent woman, hurt her and her children. Today, I apologize to Aya Luwa, her daughter Mira, and her son Talu. His announcement saw that Aya Justice Fund for Survivors of Assault. A Joseph Workers' Rights Center, funded by mining profits. Legally adopting Talu as his own, equal heir with Mira. The crowd erupted. Leah cried as she clapped. Mira and Tala stood at the back, shouting a nod. We did it, Mira said. No, Tala smiled. We're just sta rooting. That night, a small ceremony. Wanga handed them an old key, the original to Golden Oak Estate's gates, symbolizing the family's legacy. From today, he said, you're not here to take. You're here to rebuild. The rain had stopped. Moonlight glowed on the grass like liquid silver, washing away a decade of darkness. And the twin stars. They were home. For the first time, Golden Oak Estate woke to a different sound. Not servants tiptoeing around, not the butler Kimonyo's cold roll call, but children's laughter. Bright. Free. Like lake wind sweeping away 10 years of shadows. Mira and Talo were now official heirs. Wanga kept his word, adopted Talo legally, rewrote his will. The twins would inherit 30% of Golden Oak mining, the rest went to Leah and charity funds. News exploded. Some praised Wanga's redemption. Others sneered. Two village kids running a multinational joke. The twins didn't argue. Proof wasn't in words, but actions. Their first request stunned everyone, we want to go to school. School? Wanga frowned. We have private tutors. Real school, Mira said. Nairobi's best. With other kids. Talu added, I'll study engineering. Lake generators are outdated, I'll design solar systems. Wanga finally agreed. These kids wanted knowledge, not wealth. At East Africa International Academy, they became instant celebrities. Whispers followed, "That's the Maid storm baby." Some scoffed, "Bloodline privilege." Mira ignored them. She buried herself in African women pioneers, studying rights movements. Tallo built a mini wind turbine from scrap, wowing his physics teacher. They stayed frugal. Mira used Nana's hand-sewn bag, Tallo wore shoes until they fell apart. Their lunch is simple cornbread and veggies, no fancy cafes. Slowly, respect grew. Mira's debate speech on identity and dignity brought the house down. "We don't choose birth, we choose how to live. True nobility isn't blood. It's conscience." Tala's lakeside microgrid won the science fair. Judges praised, "This isn't just tech, it's humanity." They never forgot their roots. Monthly, they returned to Lake Victoria. Nana, now 80, wept seeing them, "Knew you'd come back shining." Their first allowance went to a village well. They got fisherman waterproof LED lights, sta route the Ayasholayership for girls like their mom. "Mama's unfinished dream will finish it," Mira said at the ceremony. Tala turned a broken shed into a youth learning corner. Books, internet, windows to the world. The estate changed too. Wanga Leah reneged to listen. Weekly family meetings now included the twins. He even shut 2 polluting mines, invested in solar energy. Kamonyo resisted until a stormy night, he found Tala checking old wiring, terrified of fires. They worked till dawn. "Why bother?" Kamonyo asked. "This is home now," Tala wiped sweat. "No one gets thrown out in rain again." Kamonyo remembered he'd been a poor kid once too. Loyalty wasn't to power, but to truth. He apologized, "I was wrong. I serve you now." The estate became a family. On their 13th birthday, Wanga threw a pa-ruti, not in the mansion, but by the lake. Water like glass, sunset spilling gold. Villagers gathered, Nana beamed in her chair. Leah brought cake from England, Maid's wallflower crowns. Mira and Talo stood shoreside, holding lotus lanterns. "Mama," Mira whispered, "we found home." "Auntie Aya," Talo said, "we'll live well and lift others." They set the lights afloat. Twin flames drifting into darkness like stars falling onto water. Wanga watched silently. That stormy night, he thought he was casting out shame. Turned out, he'd thrown away his soul. And now those disque ride stars had. Returned, lighting his path four-way road. Father, Leah asked. Regrets many, he said. But more gratitude. They saved me. Under the prairie sky, Mira pointed up. See those two close stars? That's us. Talu smiled. Twin stars. Never apart. When ca ride distant songs across the water. Their story just beginning. Life at Golden Oak Estate seemed perfect, sunlit paths, smooth sailing. But fate's HARS never stopped turning. A storm was brewing. It sta route with an anonymous letter. One morning, Mira found it buried in old mining files, yellowed envelope, messy scrawl. Addressed to Ka Rushi Wanga, signed Joseph A. Ru, Aya's father, Talu's grandfather. Her hands shook as she read. Wanga, I have proof of your illegal mining, fake safety records, bribes. Reinstate me plus pay medical bills, or I send everything to authorities. 7 days. Joseph A. Ru. March 10, 2015. 7 days before Mama was thrown out. But Talu had always said Joseph. Was honorable, he'd never blackmail. The handwriting looked too neat for a sick minor. They confronted Wanga. He paled, fake. Joseph never wrote this. He was laid off, mine closure. Then why didn't you investigate Mama's rape? Mira pressed. If you knew her father was framed. Wanga fell silent. The real sin wasn't the letter, it was his choice to bury truth. Then, media exploded. A tabloid headline, Twin Heirs. DNA scandal exposed. Alleged internal documents claimed the lab took Wanga's special donations. Outrage spread, scam. Village girl playing princess. Talu's just her pawn. Worse, Oroso's lawyer, still free, vowed, I have proof Myra's not Wanga's. Fake DNA. The estate fractured. Kamonyo's cold sta residential returned. Servants whispered. Even Leah wavered, Father, did we trust too fast? School turned icy. Friends vanished. Talu's tech project got axed. The Aya ship froze. What do we do? Mira whispered, TRS. Glinting. Talu squeezed her hand, truth stays true. We fight. They struck back. Talu tapped a tech club contact Interpol analyst to trace the leaked documents. Mira tracked down Nana Mina, the midwife who'd delivered her. Nana, frail but fierce, faced cameras. I was there that rainy night. Aya told no lies. Her last wish, let her child know her roots. Then, the bombshell. Talu's Interpol friend found the internal files were forged. Digital signatures matched Oroso's lawyer's office. IP address led straight to his desk. Oroso, even jailed, was pulling strings. He'd bribed a lab temp to alter data, but backup saved the real results. Got them. Talu handed evidence to police. Raids followed. Arrests made. Wanga finally woke up. At a press conference, he bowed. Afia or made me bury truth. Today, I apologize to Aya, to Joseph, to all Harmed. Myra's DNA is real. She's my daughter. Talu, no blood, but adopted by my hand. Their place. Undeniable. His new decrees. Oroso's case goes global, expose his corruption web. Truth and Reconciliation Council, Mira, Talu, independent lawyers oversee. Estate archives open to public, no more secrets. The tide turned. People cheered, the EA reneged this, not by blood, but by grit. The storm passed. But Mira and Talu knew real work was just sta rooting. No longer passive heirs, they became active changers. They pushed for youth BOA road seats, giving marginalized kids a voice. With Leah, they pivoted golden oak mining to green energy. By the lake, they built Twin Stars Academy, free school for the poor. A year later, Mira spoke at the UN Child Rights Summit. I was a baby left in rain. I stand here not to flaunt a comeback, but to tell every forgotten child your START doesn't define you. Your courage does. Darkness may linger, but hold your light. Twin STARS always come home. The crowd ROA red. Talu smiled from the front row. Their light wasn't just for them, it lit a path for others still lost. As for that forged letter, Mira keeps it in the Aya Memorial Room. Not as proof of lies, but as a reminder. Truth might be late, but it never misses its cue. 10 years flowed by like Victoria Lake's waters, steady, silent, reshaping everything in their path. Golden Oak Estate wasn't the same cold fortress anymore. The red brick walls were now an open-air gallery, showcasing African crafts and clean energy tech. The iron gates stayed unlocked, kids' laughter replacing RDS skulls. The lawns. No more champagne paradise, just book clubs, youth markets, free health clinics. Mira and Talu weren't kids anymore. Mira, 22, graduated top of her law class at Nairobi U, specializing in gender rights. She skipped corporate offers, came back to the lake, and founded the Aya Justice Center, shelter and legal aid for survivors of assault, child marriage, school bans. Her name now symbolized East Africa's rising feminist wave. Talu, 23, was the youngest energy engineer in the region. His Prairie microgrid project powered 300 villages with sun and wind. Light shouldn't just live in cities, he always said. This year's rains came early. On a drizzly May morning, the twins stood by Aya's grave, a simple stone marquette, Ayalua, 1995 to 2025. She loved in silence. Mama, Mira whispered, it's Twin STARS Academy's 10th anniversary. The kids wrote letters, some got into med school, some want to teach. Talu laid white flowers down, we kept our promise. Just then, an old pickup rattled into the estate. A dozen young adults jumped out, waving handmade flags. Thank you, Mira. Talu, we graduated. The academy's first class, now teachers, nurses, electricians, had come home to celebrate. The Pa Rudy was lakeside. Nana, 90-something and wheelchair-bound but grinning wide, squeezed Myra's hand. Your mama would burst with pride. Mira's eyes glistened as she took the makeshift stage. Hundreds watched, students, villagers, donors. 10 years ago, she began, Talu and I stood at those gates, soaked in SCA red. We weren't begging. We were hunting truth. We found it, not just blood truth, but HRT truth. She spoke of Aya's suffering, Wanga's repentance, Talu's stubborn hope. How cast-off orphans became rebuilders. We were the storm's forgotten PRLS. Today, we're Prairie Twin STARS. STARS shine brightest together, not alone. The crowd ROA red. Talu grabbed the mic. We built Twin STARS not to help kids escape the prairie, but to help the prairie rise. Education isn't a ladder out, it's a tool to remake worlds. He announced the Aya Tech Fund. 100 girls would get full rights to study engineering, medicine, law. The future belongs to those who keep their light. At dusk, 100 lotus lanterns floated on the lake, one for each child's dream. The flickering lights mirrored the starry sky. Wanga watched from the shadows, leaning on his cane. Frail, ill, but he'd insisted on coming. He hugged Mira. Sorry I reneged fatherhood so late. You weren't late, she said. You spent your last years making it right. Leah stepped up, pinning a National Young Leader Medal on Mira. Talu got the Green Energy Pioneer Awa Road, but their real prize. A child's drawing, 2 stars above a lake, village, school. Scribbled at the bottom, Mira and Talu are light. The rain stopped. Moonlight spilled over water, faces, the wide-open estate. Mira and Tala stood shoreside, gazing up. Look, Mira pointed. Our stars are still there. Always, Tala smiled. Wind ca ride the scent of wet grass, fresh arth. Their story wasn't about orphans abandoned anymore. It was how the lost remake the world. And prairie twin stars they'll keep lighting the dark. Life had settled into quiet purpose. For Mira and Tala. Twin stars Academy thrived. Sola are panels gleaming on rooftops, rainwater irrigating gardens, children's voices filling classrooms. 10 years of peace. But beneath calm waters, currents still stirred. One morning, Mira opened a thick envelope from UNICEF Geneva. Her breath caught mid-sentence. DEA are Ms. Mira while archiving our orphan records, we found a boy whose birth aligns with your mother. Is disappearance. Board August 2015 in a South Sudan border camp to Ialua, who died postpartum. The infant was adopted by Mission A Rise, sent to a UK foster home. Given your mother's confirmed 2025 death, we suspect this boy may be her second child, born after her expulsion from Golden Oak. British Child Services have approved a meeting. DNA testing available upon your request. Handle with discretion. UNICEF Africa Division. Mira's hands trembled. Another child. Pregnant again after that stormy night. Weak, bleeding. Clinging to newborn Mira in the pickup truck. How could she have ca ride another life yet if true this boy was her brother. Tala read the letter, jaw tight. Sudan's records a chaos. Could be a mistake. But the name. The timeline. Myra's voice dropped. What if Mama never knew? What if she birthed him unconscious, never got to hold him? Aya's last words haunted Mira, find your father. Never mentioning another baby. If this boy existed, her mother had died alone in war zones, leaving a child behind. We go, Tala decided. For Mama. For him. They flew to London. At the child welfare office, they met him. Kyle Evans, 18, deep brown skin, sharp nose, Myra's same piercing eyes. He froze when he saw her. You, he whispered. I dreamed you. Kyle knew he was African-born. His adoptive parents had honored that. For years, he dreamed of a vast lake, a weeping woman, a girl running in rain, even sketched the scenes. Mira showed. Aya's photo. Kyle's breath hitched, she held me in a tent. Thunder outside. Mira's chest clenched. Just like the stormy night Aya was cast out. DNA results came in 7 days. Mira, Aya and Kyle Evans, full siblings. 99.97% match. Kyle was Aya's second child, conceived before her expulsion, born in chaos after. That night, the truck driver had taken feverish Aya to a border clinic. Unconscious, she'd delivered Kyle. Amid bombings, missionaries took him while nurses misreported Aya dead. By the time Nana Mina found her, she only remembered Mira. The truth, finally Kyle wept. I always felt like half a person, now I have a sister. Mira hugged him tight. You're Aya's son. My brother. Come home. They brought him to Kenya. At Victoria's shore, Kyle knelt at Aya's grave, whispering in Swahili, Mama, I'm back. Nana, now 94, sobbed seeing him. Aya, your children are refound. Even Wanga, frail at 70, came to the airport. I failed your mother, he told Kyle, voice cracking. But I won't fail you. Kyle chose not to stay at the estate. Instead, he joined Myra's Aya Justice Center, focusing on Wa'ar's own children. I was born in a tent, he said. I'll speak for those still lost. He launched the Return Project, reuniting displaced children with families, rebuilding identities. Twin Stars Academy expanded, not just education now, but healing, belonging. A year later, Kyle addressed the UN. We're not prisoners of fate. Even thrown into fire, stripped of names, buried in forgotten files. If someone remembers you, if you remember love, you're never orphaned. You'll come home. Mira and Tala watched, TRS silent. That night, 3 lotus lanterns floated on the lake, one for Aya, one for Nana, peacefully past last year, one for all still sea urchin. Mira gazed at the stars, Mama. Twins became 3. Talu smiled. No. More. Every lost PRL. Found lights the sky. Win CA ride songs across the prairie. Their journey still unfolding. Kyle's return was like a stone tossed into Victoria Lake. The ripples reached far beyond Golden Oak. His Return Project exploded across Africa. With Myra's legal network, Talu's tech genius, and UNICEF's backing, they built Africa's Lost PRLS, a digital system matching DNA, old photos, dialects, and village oral histories to reunite children torn apart by war, poverty, and trafficking. Yar 1, 317 kids found. Yar 2, over 1,000. Every reunion was a spa RK lighting up forgotten corners. Mira's Aya Justice Center evolved too. No longer just a shelter, it became a legislative force. She united women leaders across 10 East African nations to push the Dignity Act, demanding governments fast-track sexual violence cases, ban child marriage and FGMBUA ranty women's land rights. In 2030, Kenya passed it, Alaname RK.
for African women. Mira stood in parliament, hand on the constitution. This isn't the end. It's the start. Every girl must know her body, her life, her choice. Talu's prairie microgrids now powered 7 nations. His solar hive modula are movable power stations, 1 UN top 10 global innovations. He refused to patent it, open sourcing all blueprints. Light shouldn't be owned. My first generator was in a fishing shed, he told his team. No tools, just grit. Now we've got tech, but keep the ERT. Golden Oak Estate became Twin Stars Foundation HQ. Before Wanga died, he signed over his entire fortune to fund education, environment, and human rights. His last words to Mira, tell Kyle. Africa needs him. His funeral saw gentle rain, but no mourning, only gratitude. Villagers, found children, ambassadors, and media gathered not for a TYCN, but for a man who'd finally chosen light. Leah took over his chair but handed real power to Mira, Talu, and Kyle. This is your world now. I'm just the keeper. Then a bigger storm hit. A new virus ravaged West Africa. Hospitals collapsed. Borders shut. Who issued red alerts, but aid stalled. The trio acted fast. We can't wait, Kyle said. Our return project volunteers can triage on the ground. Microgrids can power field hospitals, Talu added. I'll design portable solar medpods for ventilators. Legal team can force open aid corridors, Mira said. We'll push a pandemic humanitarian waiver at the UN. Within days, Talu's engineers built Life ARKS shipping container med units with solar power, air filters, and telemedicine. First batch saved 100 critical patients. Myra's One Candle campaign flooded social media, a virtual sea of lights pressuring governments. Her legal team froze debtor nations' repayments, freeing billions for healthcare. Kyle braved quarantine zones, using drones to deliver meds and hope letters to orphan kids. 3 months later, who declare red victory. This win belongs not just to doctors, but to those who bridge divides with tech, law, and love. The trio won the Global Humanitarian Prize. On stage, Mira said. We were babies left in rain, orphans lost in war. But we Leoned, the herder best qualified not to hurt. The forgotten hold the power to remember. Today, we're not heroes. Weary spa archaeus. And wildfires start with the RTS that refused to go out. After the ceremony, they returned to the lake. The Milky Way blazed overhead. 3 lanterns floated on the water, mirroring the stars. Mama, Mira whispered, see your kids didn't just live for themselves. We passed the light on. Tala gazed at the horizon. Twin stars was never just 2. It's the name for every soul that walks out of darkness. Kyle smiled, our job make this sky brighter. Win CA ride the scent of fresh grass. And somewhere on EARTH, another. Child looked up at the night. Maybe, soon, they'd be the next Spa RK.